tighten up, tighten up.
Let me hear you say it.
Whole city getting hype now. Tell them boys to tighten up, tighten up.
Let me hear you say it.
Nissan come alive for them. Tell them boys to tighten up, tighten up.
Ooh, let me hear you say it.
All my people on Broadway. Tell them boys to tighten up,
One time, one.
oh, tell them boys to tighten up, tighten up. Yeah, Nashville, turn the lights on me. Third down, what the play gon' be?
Well, good evening to all our fans of All Sports, All Plays Network. My name is Freddie. You're still joined by the wonderful Chris Brown. And today we have a wonderful guest, Mr. Luke Worsham. He's a journalist for the Tennessee Titans. So let's welcome him. Before we let him go, we want to introduce Big Shaw to the network. He's our new moderator for the All Sports and All Plays Network with Sports Talk with Freddie and Chris. He will join us as our new moderator. So, Luke, welcome to the show. Please Let the people know what you do and tell them all about you.
Yeah, so I have been covering the Titans as essentially a columnist since 2018. That's when I started with A to Z Sports. Before that, I did write about the Titans for blogs and other websites for about 3 years. So that's how I got where I am now. And it's been a lot of fun. And guys, this has been a crazy, crazy week. I mean, the first week of the season is kind of crazy anyway with content and all that. But then when the Clowney news happened, I mean, plans kind of go out the window when something that big happens. And it's been a very, very busy week. I appreciate you giving me a little bit of respite from it all to let me just hang out and come on for a little bit. But, it's been a good busy. It's been a lot of fun. Our site is getting a lot of traffic, which has been great. We have a lot of very loyal viewers and readers that we're very appreciative of, and just exciting to have the start of the season. I mean, over here on my TV, I can't really see it, but the Chiefs and the Texans are playing right now. And, it was A.J. Brown. We were Zooming with him today. And he got asked, did you think this was going to happen? And he said, I'll believe it when I see it tonight when the Texans and the Chiefs kick off. So it's on, it's happening, and we're back, guys.
Yeah. Well, Luke, let's jump in right into it. You spoke about Clowney. What do you think his impact will be on this team?
So it's a good question, and I wrote about it a little bit today on A2ZSportsNashville.com if you want to go read that. And I think he's going to have a big impact on this team. And I think the reason why is that a lot of times in the NFL, teams misunderstand the purpose of free agency. They think that free agency is supposed to be where you go out and you find some kind of savior that's going to come in and change your team. That's not what the Titans want out of Clowney, right? And that's how I ended the column I wrote today. It's that they're not looking for him to come in here and transform the team, because this is already a good football team. It was a good football team before he got here. It was a good defense before he got here. In the AFC Championship game just back in January, they're not asking him to save the team. They're just wanting him to make it better. And another thing is, this isn't baseball where you bring in a guy and say pitch, or you bring in a guy and say hit. You've got to make sure your free agents are good fits for your scheme. And there's perhaps no better fit for this scheme than Jadeveon Clowney, who has great familiarity with Mike Vrabel, who was his defensive coordinator in Houston. Titans outside linebackers coach Shane Bowen coached Jadeveon Clowney in Houston. There's all sorts of connections with him on this staff. So I'm not going to put a number on it because I don't know how many sacks he's going to have or anything like that. But he's certainly going to make this Titans team a lot better, and he's going to give offensive coordinators that face the Titans one more thing to worry about.
All right, I'll let Chris start it off.
I agree. Like, Clowney is going to make a big impact. It might not always show up in the stats or the tackles, but the impact he has on the field is tremendous. So my question for you is the addition of Clowney, re-signing the Tannehill, bringing Derrick Henry back, already returning with that nice roster that went to the AFC Championship last year. What do you think the mindset is these guys, in the locker room? Do you think they can go all the way? Because I believe so. I love the roster. I love their coach. What do you think the mindset is of the guys in the locker room?
It's a good question because, and I think I certainly have this week, and several other reporters have kind of tried to get the players to say something along the lines of, here's our expectation. I think the biggest thing was, Kevin Byard said, he said, our goal is to win every game. Now, obviously, that's an unachievable goal. So in terms of what they actually want, they haven't stated it out. A lot of times they say things like, we're just going to take it one game at a time. We're only concerned with beating Denver. But here's what I think. And I wrote this on Wednesday, is essentially my season preview column on our website. This is not the same old Titans team, right? That team went out the window in January when they dismantled the Ravens, who were the best team in the NFL last year, when they, ended the Patriots Tom Brady dynasty, right? The win one week, disappointing loss the next, stumble through the first 10 weeks of the season, and then you're, 6-6 and have to get help to get in the playoffs. That's not what this team is, guys. They're far more talented than that. Before the addition of Clowney, they were more talented than that. And so when it comes to an expectation for this team, I don't necessarily know what expectation they have for themselves, but here's what they should have, because this is what I think the standard they should be held to. I'm not going to say they have to win a certain number of playoff games. I'm not going to say they have to, win the Super Bowl or whatever. They just have to look good, right? They have to get off to a fast start. They have to win their division, because that's what good teams who are Super Bowl contenders do. They get off to a fast start and they win your division. And I asked Roger Saffold last week, who got off to 2 really fast starts in his last year in LA. I asked him, what does it do for the rest of your season? Because, obviously it matters more how you finish. But I said, what does it do for the rest of the season when you get off to a fast start? And Roger said, when you start losing at the beginning of the season, it's always, well, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's try again. He said, but when you're winning, you're still critical of yourself. You're still saying, how can I get better? But you're not saying, let's go back to the drawing board. You're saying, let's build off of what we did that was so good that got us this win. And he said, through that, you develop confidence. And then he said, and I think you saw that at the end of last season when we started stringing those wins together, the confidence grew and it culminated in what we saw in January. So what's the expectation? The expectation is to win the division and to start fast.
Yeah. Hey, Big Shaw, you have a question for him?
Yeah. With Javion Clowney coming aboard, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. Coming aboard, do you think he's gonna make an immediate impact?
Well, he got asked today if he planned on playing Monday night, and he kind of laughed. He was like, yeah, I plan on playing Monday night. That's kind of why I'm here. And, I don't know how big his role is going to be. I think he's certainly conditioned. It's a very similar in terms of the defensive terminology, so he's not going to have to, reinvent the wheel in terms of learning a defense. Right. If nothing else, this is what they're going to do. Hey, Jadeveon, it's 3rd down. Go line up against the left tackle and run at the quarterback. It doesn't take, learning the playbook for that. And so at the very least, I think that's what we're going to see from him this week. But I would bet that you're going to see a lot more than just a 3rd down specialist. I think if I had to bet on it, you're going to see a pretty normal workload for Jadeveon Clowney this week.
Hey, Luke, so when you have the Texans in that division, you have the Colts, you have the Jaguars. Mm-hmm. Obviously the Titans front office believe in Tannehill. They believe in Henry. They believe in them boys. They paid them. Okay. Yeah. So are they? I mean, clearly to me, this is their year. Like Chris was alluding to, that that they make a real deep run. I mean, they beat the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs last year. They beat Tom Brady. So, I mean, is this a team that could possibly knock out the Ravens again and knock off the Chiefs? Maybe.
I think they absolutely can. I think they're talented enough. I mean, you look at this roster, and when you talk about, okay, what are the big holes or what are the positions that worry you, you're talking about like backup quarterback, how's the depth at inside linebacker? Do they have enough cornerbacks? Is Gostkowski going to be any good as the kicker? Right. All of that is important. Don't get me wrong, but those are the problems we're talking about when we talk about what are the problems on the Titans roster? Because there just aren't that many of them. You've got at least the left side of the offensive line, Ben Jones to Lawan and with Saffold is very good. Maybe, Nate Davis and Dennis Kelly will have to see what they do. But you mentioned Tannehill, Henry, they've got weapons galore on offense. They've got several talented pass rushers on defense. You've got good linebackers, a good secondary. I mean, they have the makeup for a team, and it's more than just on paper because we saw them do it last year, and we know what this coaching staff, Arthur Smith, Mike Vrabel, are capable of. And so, I think this is a team that can certainly do more this year than even we saw them do in 2019.
Before I let Chris go, because I know Chris is ready to unload, I can just see him by the eyes right there. You seen Tannehill get paid and Henry get paid.
Yeah.
Obviously, this team is for Henry. Henry's had a breakout year last year. Was there any tension between them two about who's getting paid more? Because, everybody would have thought Henry would have got paid more since, he's the workhorse of this team. But Tannehill obviously got the big payday. Was there any controversy behind that, if any?
No, I doubt it. Henry's about as humble as they come when it comes to players. He doesn't like praising himself. He very rarely, if ever, will talk about himself. He'll gladly talk about his teammates. So I doubt there was any kind of tension there. And I don't know that it was necessarily any kind of message by paying Tannehill first. I mean, you guys know even the best of running backs, the quarterback is still what you need. And I've said it for a while. Derrick Henry is the engine that is going to get the Titans where they need to be. But Ryan Tannehill is the conductor. And you can't have a conductor without an engine, and you can't have an engine without a conductor. They both work hand in hand. And I think that's been a problem, and I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of national media has kind of said, well, all Tannehill does is hand it off to Henry. Right, and you guys watch these games, you know that that's not what happened. You know that Ryan Tannehill led the NFL in passer rating last year, that his yards per attempt numbers were out of this world. And so I don't want to hear it that Tannehill is just some kind of game manager that's handing off to Derrick Henry. Tannehill was a good quarterback in Miami. Let's not forget that before he got hurt, he was leading them to winning records. And so, there's certainly no who's more important because I think they're probably equally as important for different reasons. But you can't – if either one of them were to get hurt, it would be a catastrophe for the Titans.
All right. So I see Chris' eyes. He's ready to go. When I told him that you was coming on, I bet he started writing notes down the second I told him. So Chris will let you have it.
Yeah, I have this is coming from like a true fan question right here. I don't know how familiar you are with the podcast Bussin' with the Boys with Taylor Lewan and Will Compton, but when I watch it, I see a lot of Tennessee Titan players are on it. How's the atmosphere in their locker room? Because to me, the teams that win, they're real close in the locker room. When I look at the Tennessee Titans, one thing I really like about them is, from what I see, I don't know the inside, but from what I see, they look real close. And I feel like that's a big factor, going into their success. So what's the locker room looking like?
They're certainly close. Now, granted, I have not been in the locker room since the day after the AFC Championship game because we obviously have not been allowed in due to coronavirus restrictions. But from what I know from the last 2 years and from what I know just of, because there hadn't been much roster turnover, I've been around, this roster in the locker room. You're absolutely right. They are a very tight-knit group. And I think that a lot of people like to say that culture is overrated in the NFL. I very much disagree with that because I think that when you have that camaraderie, Vrabel always talks about this. He says, when you have that camaraderie and when you're friends, it leads to being able to criticize each other. And Lawan has said that. He said, I'm not afraid to tell Roger Saffold after play, what in the world was that? And he said, and he's not afraid to tell me the same thing because we know, because we have that relationship, that we just want to win. We just want each other to improve. And the Titans very much have that camaraderie. You certainly see it on, Taylor Lewan and Will Compton's podcast. You see it in how they interact on the sideline. I mean, I think one of the best examples was when Mariota was still the starter last year, Tannehill would help him out a lot on the sideline. You would see that. And then when the roles switched, Mariota was the one helping Tannehill. And you see relationships like that throughout this roster and throughout the locker room, certainly.
That's huge.
Hey, all right, Big Sean, do you have any other questions you want to ask him?
Yeah, I got one more question.
Okay.
Besides Clowney,
Mhm.
who you think can have a breakout year on the Titans besides Clowney this year?
It's a good question. It's a tough question. I think there are a few candidates. Jonnu Smith is a pretty popular one that a lot of people say. I like Jonnu. I think he's a really talented player. I don't know that he's going to get the volume in the passing game that you need to have a, quote unquote breakout season. I think Adoree Jackson is certainly a candidate. He's someone that I think with Adoree, people have confused the punt returning with his defense because the punt returning has been awful. I mean, he has been a objectively very bad NFL punt returner. But as a cornerback, he's been very, very steady ever since he came onto this team. And so I think this is potentially a year where he can, take the next step as he looks to earn a second contract going into now year 4 and the next year, year 5. I think he's someone that can take a step forward. Jeffrey Simmons is another one. He was probably playing at about 70 to 80% a lot of last year because of the injury. I mean, he told us in a Zoom call a few weeks ago that, he would watch film of himself in 2019 and be like, who is that guy? Because he knows what he's capable of when he's fully healthy. And he's slimmed down a little bit. He's faster. And he's a plus athlete at that defensive tackle spot. And so with him probably getting to play more 3 technique this year with Jarrell Casey being gone, you could certainly see him as a potential breakout candidate as well. So that's 2 on defense. And then, here's mine. I think Rashaan Evans. I'm going to give you 3 defense players. I think Rashaan Evans is extremely talented. He's very athletic. He's very versatile in what he can do. I remember I knew I was going to be interviewing him at some point. This was 2019 offseason, so about a year ago. And so the night before I was going to interview him, I was just going back and watching some of his game tape just to see if there was anything I wanted to talk about from that. And I watched the Derrick Henry 99-yard touchdown game against the Jaguars. And I counted like 6 or 7 different positions that they had him play, Evans, as a rookie. I mean, he was playing outside linebacker on the left side, outside linebacker on the right side, defensive end. He literally played defensive tackle on one play. He's playing inside linebacker. He's matching up with tight ends, running backs. He's edge rushing. I mean, this guy does a million different things. If I remember right, he got hurt last year at one point, and so that might have detracted, but he made a lot of plays. He's also extremely intelligent. I mean, you hear it when you listen to him talk, his command of his role and his responsibility. So if I had to pick one breakout candidate, Adoree and Jeffrey Simmons are up there, but I think I would go with Rashaan.
All right, let's have a little fun with this one because, you have Derrick Henry. He's a bad man. He's a stud with the running back.
Yeah.
I'm a Giants fan.
Okay.
I'm a Saquon Barkley's fan,
Okay.
Oh, man.
Where do you rank Derrick Henry of all the elite running backs? I mean, you have Saquon, you have McCaffrey, you have Zeke Elliott, you have Cooks, and Henry's a part of all of them. Where do you rank? Where do you have him ranked?
Well, so I would put McCaffrey as number 1 just because of his versatility. And I think versatility is sometimes an overrated word because if you can do more than one thing, but you stink at those more than one things, then it's kind of meaningless. But McCaffrey's obviously really, really good as a runner and as a receiver. So I'd put him at number 1. And I would probably put Derrick at number 2. And my all-time favorite NFL player is Adrian Peterson. And I've been lucky that, he's lasted as long as he has. He's still in the league with the Lions, so I'll get to watch him play at least one more year this year. And while I don't think Derrick is as talented as Adrian Peterson is, I mean, that's a once-in-a-generation type of guy. I think he has the same impact on the Titans that Adrian Peterson had on those Vikings teams of his that had terrible quarterbacks and still managed to make pushes for the playoffs. Now, the Titans have a good quarterback and have good weapons. And so I think it balances out a little bit more. But Derrick Henry, I'm a huge fan of in terms of what he's able to do and just watching him play. I mean, it's such a blessing. You watch this team play every week, and the Titans have, for years had some kind of dud teams and some dud players. And, when you watch the team play every week, you see great players from other teams come in. Mike Evans is always one that comes to mind. When I watched him in person, it was, like a dream watching him play wide receiver. Todd Gurley is someone else that really stood out to me. But, we as members of the Titans media have the blessing of getting to watch Derrick Henry play every week. And it truly is amazing what this guy can do. And I love Saquon Barkley. I remember one time Kenny Vaccaro told me before they were going to play the Giants, he said, all my life I've been told about how good Barry Sanders was. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. He said, well, I turned on the Saquon Barkley tape. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what they were talking about with Barry Sanders. And so I think Saquon Barkley is a very, very talented player. I don't think we've seen him have the impact yet that the Giants probably wanted when they took him with the 4th pick. I think we probably will this year if he can stay healthy. But because of his pedigree and his track record, I'm going to go with Derrick over him on this one.
So who's number 2?
Derrick.
Number 3. I'm sorry, number 3.
Number 3. I don't know. That's tough. I would probably put Saquon at number 3 and then put Zeke Elliott at number 4.
Yeah. All right. Before do anybody else have any questions for him before we let him go?
I got one more.
Okay.
I know it may seem crazy, but it's always good to ask. Do you think the Titans can make a push to the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because they're better than they were last year, and last year they had a 10-point lead in the AFC Championship game. Mm-hmm. The reason the Titans lost the AFC Championship game was 2 reasons. One, they were worn out from having played 2 weeks on the road. Yeah, so if you win the division, you get yourself some home playoff games. That helps a lot with that. Number 2, they couldn't get near Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, fantastic player, really, really good, best quarterback in the league. Yeah. But they couldn't get near him. I mean, you saw that play where he, ran for that long touchdown and they couldn't even get a finger on him. And so that's the Jadeveon Clowney difference. That's the Vic Beasley difference, is you've got these big athletic pass rushers who can play run and chase when they need to. And when you play someone as talented as Patrick Mahomes, that's what you have to do sometimes. And so, Harold Landry's a good player. I think he's going to probably get better this year. But, Kamale Correa needs to be a role player. And they had him as their primary starter at edge rusher opposite Harold Landry. And you just kind of get what you get with that. Jarrell Casey was getting older. He wasn't, fast enough to be able to run down quarterback the caliber of Patrick Mahomes. So they've gotten so much faster and better in the front 7. It was the biggest need for them this offseason other than kicker. And they went out and got a lot better there. And so, yeah, absolutely, I think this team can. Will they? I don't know. I'm not going to predict that. They are more than capable of it.
Hey, Luke, before we let you go, our partner here at All Sports All Plays Network, Jason Barber asked, Luke, how do you think the season will be affected by COVID-19, as in canceled games?
I think the biggest thing working in the NFL's favor is the fact that they only play once a week. I think part of the reason that baseball has been sort of a train wreck is that they play every day. And so if you have a positive test, on a Monday, it's 3 or 4 days after that you can't play. Whereas if you're sort of keeping – because the NFL, obviously they're not like in an NBA bubble, but the players are kind of quarantining themselves at home. They're not being ridiculous. I mean, we saw there's only one positive test the last round of tests that they did. And so what's going to happen is after you have your games, you're going to be able to quickly figure out if anyone contracted the virus after your game. You're going to test still. You're going to figure out who has it. And because they play a week apart, you're not going to have these situations like baseball had where, oh, my goodness, we've got to cancel 3 games and find some time to make them up in an afternoon. And, well, we're going to play 7 innings instead of 9 innings just because we've got so many games to play. Because the NFL only plays once a week, I would not envision it happening. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but I don't think we're going to see anything in the NFL quite like what we saw in baseball.
Right.
All right, cool. Well, Luke, man, it was a pleasure having you on the show.
Absolutely.
We hope that we can have you on in the near future. Maybe, and you're always welcome to the All Sports All Plays Network. We're a new network, so spread the love, and we thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir.
Tell them boys to tighten up. Tighten up.
Let me hear you say it.
Whole city getting hype now. Tell them boys to tighten up. Tighten up.
Let me hear you say it.
Nissan come alive for them. Tell them boys to tighten up. Tighten up.
Let me hear you say it.
All my people on Broadway. Tell them boys to tighten up. Oh, tell them boys to tighten up. Tighten up. Yeah, Nashville, turn the lights on me. Lights on me. Lights on.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more.
What you say?
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more.
Oh woman, don't treat me so mean.
Okay. Oh, let me fix my mic right quick. Hold on.
That was fun having him on.
It was. I mean, he definitely knew what he's talking about. And man, hey, we had our fantasy league. I'm gonna see if anybody picked up the Titans. I might need to go pick that defense up.
Now they do have a stacked defense. They have very good safeties. They have they have a pass rush with Beasley and Jadeveon. Like the safeties, they got Byard and Vinny Vaccaro. They have good corners in Butler and Adoree. They have a really good defense. They do, and their offense still. They had one of the best lines, a good running back, good tight end, one receiver, and quarterback. They're a good team. They're a good team. I'm not going to lie to you.
Damn, the Titans may make some noise this year, man.
Yeah.
But I will say I'm a Browns fan though.
Oh man.
I'm a Browns fan. You know, we don't have much to talk about with the Browns. It's just, you know, I look at the Browns. They got talent, but they can't stay healthy. Like Denzel Ward,
Grant Doak.
Oh man, that dude would be a beast, man. He's a top 5 player if he can stay healthy. Then you got Greedy Williams on the other side, but if we go get Earl Thomas, we'll be really dangerous. We really didn't get Earl Thomas, but I don't know, man. I don't know where he's going to go. I've been trying to think where he's going to go. I don't know if nobody want him.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to find out. I don't know where he's going to go. I thought Philadelphia would be a good spot for him. You know,
yes, indeed.
You know, Philly or maybe the Giants, they can, use somebody like that in the backfield, And I know he's not going to Dallas, so I'm not worried about that part. But
yeah, we just have to add that to the next show. So
let's get it rocking with these juicy topics today, man.
Yeah, because that stuff like that, man. You got Earl Thomas sitting around waiting to go on the team. Somebody to get him.
All right.
But I know the 49ers wanted to get him, but I think Jerry Rice said to go with it with caution and be careful. So, you don't want to get caught up in a situation. So we're gonna see where he goes. He's a hell of a player though. He makes an impact, on every team he go to. So we're gonna see where he goes.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna see. But I do got one question though. Some people can't give me a good answer. They beat around the bush with it. Who's the best tight end in the NFL right now, y'all think?
Best tight end? Probably Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce. Man.
It's top 3 is Kelce, Kittle, and Ertz. Those are the top 3. You can put it in any order you want, but I think those are the top 3.
Yeah, I'm a Kittles fan. Me, I like him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Big Show. Let's give the fans what they want. Let's get it started. Let's go.
All right. Oh, okay. Let's get okay. The 49ers. Do anybody think the 49ers will have a Super Bowl hangover this year?
Do I? When I look at them, I don't think they're going to have a hangover because they didn't win it and they're young. And they're hungry. And if you look at what Kittle said at the end, he said, "I'm going to be back here again."
I heard him.
Yeah, so they're hungry. They're young. They traded away DeForest Buckner just to get Kinlaw. So they're still trying to make little improvements to their roster. They got rid of Emmanuel Sanders, got out of here, but they still got Debo. They drafted a young wide receiver who I'm hearing nothing but praise about. So hopefully he's healthy.
Yeah.
You went and get a Trent Williams. I don't think they're going to have no Super Bowl hangover. They're going to be they're still going to try to go and get it. Now, can they get there? I don't know, but they still want it.
I don't think it's about all those other players. It's about Jimmy G. Will Jimmy G step up?
He needs to step up. He got to.
Yes, sir.
He got to. I really think he got to step up. I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna win a division, but it's gonna be close with Seattle too. You know, I'm not a Seattle fan, but I think Seattle will give them another. You know, give them a push. So it's gonna be out of them two, I think, this year.
Seattle winning that division.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. But I was talking about the NFC East. I know you said you were a Giants fan.
And I'm an Eagles fan.
Huh?
I'm an Eagles fan.
Oh, you're an Eagles fan? Oh man. The Eagles. They quarterback situation with Carson Wentz. You think he'll be healthy this year?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Carson Wentz injuries, okay, he tore his ACL. You know, knock on wood. Don't wish that on nobody, but a lot of quarterbacks have gotten knee injuries. Then he messed up his back, but he still threw for over 3,000 yards and 21 interceptions in 11 games. Then you look at the last year, the injury, Jadeveon Clowney literally headbutted that man. He didn't go for a regular tackle. He led with his head first and tried to take him out, and he did take him out. So staying healthy, I don't think is a problem. That injury last year, somebody targeted him. When you get targeted, you're going to get a concussion. The knee things happen. He was going to win the MVP that year. He led us to the Super Bowl. That's cool. Then the back, he still played through it and tried his best and still had a really good year. So I don't think injuries is honestly a problem with Carson Wentz. He keeps getting better and he keeps getting stronger. And if, say, he, knock on wood, does get injury, I love Jalen Hurts. I don't think we should have got him in the second round, but the addition of him, I feel like if he gets hurt, not only are the Eagles, coaches are confident, but the receivers are confident in that man. Your receivers are confident in you and the quarterback, then you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles are going to be. I think the Eagles are going to be okay. Eagles are going to be number 2 behind my New York Giants.
Who's going to be number 1?
My Giants going to be number 1. The Eagles going to be number 2.
He don't believe that.
I really do.
I don't think you believe that neither. I don't think you believe that. Some people say Dallas is going to be number 1.
No, I don't believe in Dallas. Dallas have a lot of talent on the offensive side, but I believe Dak Prescott's going to go under pressure because he's not going to know what to do with the ball. You have too many talent. I mean, I just think this team will find a way to crumble, to fold like tents that they are. They will not get it done. They'll be the same Cowboys year after year after year after year.
Yeah. I believe in him. I hate to say it, but I believe in him this year, man. I believe in him. But I'm not a fan, but I think Dallas will do something though. If Dak Prescott can do, can pull it off.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, how about you guys ready to talk some NBA?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Let's talk about the
Lakers Rockets. Oh, okay.
Let's get into it. Hey, yeah. What do you think about that Clippers and Nuggets matchup, bro?
Man, I'm not going to go back on my words for saying that I would take, the Nuggets in 7 because I like their roster and I like how they play. If you look at the games, they're in there, but Jokic needs help. Jamal Murray, like Michael Porter Jr., he said something, and I seen on Twitter, Dame reacted. He said, shaking my head, because he basically said the Clippers know that we're going to give the ball to Jokic and we're going to give the ball to Murray and play off of that. So they're keen on that. And people were saying, shaking my head, but he said nothing but the truth. Maybe he shouldn't have said it in the interview. Maybe he should have kept it for the locker room. But when I look at that matchup, man, everybody knows that they're going through Jokic and they're going through Murray. Now, Jokic is going to be able to do what he wants. He's going to be able to do what he wants because nobody on that Clippers team can guard him. Murray sometimes struggles. I think he's trying to do too much. I'm not saying he's not talented enough, but he wants to win so bad that he wants to do everything right. So I think he just needs to slow down and play his game. Michael Porter Jr. is doing this thing off the bench, but at the end, man, this Clippers team, not that I took him lightly by taking the Nuggets in 7. I just thought the Nuggets could do it. They play like they can do it, but the Clippers team is very talented, man. They just lack a big man. But when you talk about the wings, they got it. Paul George, Kawhi, Lou, Reggie, Shamlet, Pat Bev, don't like him, but hey, good defender.
When you say wings, is this possibly the best wings that we've seen since Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen? I've heard people say that. I'm just asking.
You talk, yeah. I mean, okay, in their prime, I think so. Only because D Wade and LeBron didn't get to play with each other in their prime. If they play with each other in their prime, I'm taking them over Paul George and Kawhi. But in their prime, you talking about a shooting guard, a small forward. They're both really small forwards, but they're lined up as shooting guard, or small forward. You know, one thing I will say about this, I'm not going to say that they're better than Jordan and Pippen, but I'm going to say that if you want to say Kawhi is Michael Jordan, that's cool. And if you want to say Paul George is Scotty, well, Paul George can score and is way more versatile on offense than Scottie Pippen. That's all I'm going to say. But you're talking about two great dominant wing duos, they're it.
Yes. So, Big Shaw, do you think this series is over between the Nuggets and the Clippers?
No, it's not over. You got to believe in my Nuggets, man. You got to believe in the Nuggets. The Nuggets will come through. I've been a Nuggets fan ever since I was little, man. I've been going for them for the longest. It's not over. Don't ever count the Nuggets out, man. You know, they're young and talented. You know, they just need a little bit more help, if you ask me. But they have to get through this series, though. I want them to go all the way. You know, I've been around them for too long, so I think they'll go all the way this year.
But do you think with the lack of a big man that the Clippers have, do you think they can stop? Do you think this series need to go through the Joker? I mean, you would think so, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Man, my opinion, you guys, I've said it from day one. I think this Clippers team have too much firepower. They play too much defense for this Nuggets team. I think this Nuggets team need one solid, strong veteran that can still play and they can help lead this team. Because to me, I want the Joker to work on his defense. We know what he can do on the offensive end. But if he can find, like I said it before, if he had Rudy Gobert's defense, oh my.
He'd be a bad man.
That dude be probably the best big man in the game.
He don't even need that caliber of defense. He just needs to be an average defender, you know, because Rudy Gobert is the elite of the elite. So we all know he's not going to get there. But if he becomes quicker on his feet, you know, sometimes he's like lazy on defense. He let people just go up and score without contesting. It's just the little things. If he does the little things like that, then he's going to be a dominant center in this league. The offense is there, like you said. The offense is there, but that defense is a big problem. He doesn't have to be Rudy Gobert because now you're telling him to be the best center defensive-wise in the league. But he has to be average. He's not even an average defender. He has to be at least an average defender because Zubac is kind of an average defender. He has to be at least on Zubac's level, in my opinion.
Let's get to the next game. The Lakers and the Houston.
Big
Shaw. You have Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Eric Bledsoe, Mike D'Antoni with the small ball. Is this series over?
Man, that series over. Let me tell you why it's over. When Houston won game one, I looked at my co-host and we watched the game together. I said, LeBron James is gonna win this series, and they're gonna go all the way to the finals, and they're gonna win the championship. Man, that series over with. Houston might as well sit down. Lakers got way too much firepower for Houston. You know, way too much firepower.
Hey, Chris Brown.
Yeah.
I know the answer. You know the answer. But for our audience that don't know the answer, you know, last year, Kawhi Leonard won a championship with the Raptors. You know, some people put in their eyes that Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the game.
Yes,
Some people said that, you know, LeBron needs to claim his crown back by winning a championship this year.
Yes, sir.
What you've seen in the bubble, what you've seen these last two series that he's inserted himself to almost look like Miami LeBron again, has he proven to you, or has he proven the point to the ones that don't believe it, that he's still the best player in the game?
Man, it's without a doubt. I personally don't think he let go of it. The reason why people were saying, oh, Kawhi, oh, Giannis, is because LeBron got a groin injury, you know, halfway through the season last year. But if you look at it, that roster was way worse than this roster this year, and he still had him at a 4th seed. You know, coming in this year, changed the point guard position. 25 points, 8 rebounds, led the league in assists. You get into the playoffs. First series, he averaged a triple-double, over 50% shooting from the field, over 40% shooting from the three-point line. Game one, everybody knows he uses game one as a fill-out game. And what does he do after that? Dominate. Right now, he has 14, 13, and 8 with 2 steals, right? Everybody's going to say, oh, he's not having a great game, but he's still shooting 6 for 13 from the field. Kawhi Leonard against the Denver Nuggets shot 4 for 17 one game. He was shooting 0 for 3 from the in the fourth quarter, 1 for 7 in the fourth quarter. Nobody said anything. This is why LeBron is great. This is why he will remain the greatest. When you're the greatest, everybody has to say everything negative about you. Doesn't matter how bad you perform, how good you perform, they have negative opinions. Kawhi Leonard, like I said, 4 for 17, nobody said anything. Only the real ones that know, that keep it 100, they said something. They called him out on his actions. Nobody wants to call Kawhi out on his actions. You look at Giannis. You look at Giannis, what just happened to him. We'll probably get into that a little bit later, so I'm not going to go too into it. But basically, nobody's going to him. You know, nobody's counting him accountable for his actions. They don't count these quote-unquote top guys accountable for their actions. But when if LeBron has 20 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, they're going to say he didn't have a good game. Yeah, all these other people over here getting knocked out of the playoffs, going 4 for 17, they say nothing. They keep him on that. You know, have the same energy when you talk about these other guys, how you talk about LeBron. LeBron's still the GOAT. LeBron's still the GOAT in my eyes. I mean, he went to 8 straight championships. Nobody that y'all call the best player in the league is ever going to do that. On 2 different separate teams. LeBron is that man, 100% dog. He's going to this playoffs. When he wins the championship, I don't want no more humble LeBron. I want him to hold the trophy up and say, oh, y'all say I'm not the GOAT. Look at me now. I'm the GOAT. 4 championships, 3 finals MVPs on 3 different teams. Get at me. That's what he need to say. Stop all that humble stuff.
You know what you just said, it reminds me of a quote that Doc Rivers said. He said, we let Michael Jordan go 7 years into developing that player that he is. When LeBron James came in, we didn't let him come to that player, but LeBron's took it to the next level when he got there. So my thing is, and I agree with you, Chris. I always say this about the Lakers and the Clippers. The Lakers lose one night, it's over. There's no way they win the championship. The Clippers lose one night, it's an excuse. That's it's just the story of being a Laker. LeBron always had this criticism even before he came to Los Angeles. Honestly,
he had when he got drafted. We'll talk about it later. I'll go in depth to it later.
Yeah. But let's keep it moving because we have a lot of juicy topics today, people. I promise you thought the top of the show was fire with Luke on here. It's about to get even more heated. All right, who is the best team left in the playoff, and who is the championship favorite? Chris, who's winning the chip?
Who's winning the chip, man? The Los Angeles Lakers. They're the favorite, and they're still the best team. And I'm gonna tell you why. Everybody wants to say the Clippers and they're defenders. Okay, the Clippers have the big names. They have the Pat Bevs, they have the Kawhi Leonards, they have the Paul George, but do not count out the Lakers in their defense. You have Rondo, Caruso, Kyle Kuzma stepped up to be a very good defender. Not saying he's all defensive team, but I see him go out and compete against James Harden, with James Harden fried Pat Bev and Paul George on one play, hit a 3 and 1. You got LeBron still. You got Danny Green, Caldwell Pope, but then on the back end, you got JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, and Anthony Davis. So not only are they dominating the paint with defense, but they could dominate your perimeters. Then you talk about their 2 stars. They have the best 2 duo in the league. You got a big man in Anthony Davis that can literally play big man and guard. He could dominate in the post. He has the face-up game, the jump shot game, driving into the hoop game. He has it all, the total package, offensive, defense. Then you led by the king. The king. Let's just take a moment of silence. Moment of silence for the king. You're talking about a walking triple-double. You're talking about a guy that had 4 blocks in 1 quarter. You're talking about a guy that can do everything, has the best vision in the game, can still take over, drop 30 at any time he wants in a game. Walking triple-double when he wants in a game. When LeBron wants to be the best, he'll be the best. You see it in this series. He wanted to be the best. He's being the best. Right now, he is dominating. Okay. When I look at the Clippers, okay, they got a nice roster. It's their first year. You add the Kawhis, the Paul George. That don't make them the best. They weren't the number. They weren't. They say the Clippers have the best roster. That's what they all told me. They said the Clippers had the best coach. Why weren't they the first seed? You tell me that. Why weren't they the first seed? All this load management stuff. LeBron's coming off a groin injury last year. That still you can see. Sometimes he looked like he's still giving them problems. Anthony Davis was battling through his injuries the whole time with the Pelicans. So don't give me that load management stuff. Then we get into the bubble. Who's been the most consistent team? After the Lakers were still in the shooting something, but still were the best defensive team in the bubble. They say the Rockets was the best defensive team. I'm sorry, they were going against the Thunder that weren't really a good offensive team. So of course their defensive stats is going to look great. You look at what's happening right now against LA. LA is dominating the 3-ball, the mid-range, the free throw, and the paint. LA is still the best team, hands down. It's not close. It goes to LA, but not through the Clippers, baby. The Lakers. Straight facts.
Hey, Big Shaw, we know the Bucks got knocked out of it. The Clippers are still in it. Houston's technically still in it. Do you think the Lakers can beat the Clippers and then go to the finals and play whoever they play and beat them?
I'm gonna go on a limb. I said they'll whoop the Clippers.
Yes,
You
sir.
don't want to see LeBron James in this. You know, he a man on a mission right now. He's on a mission. LeBron James is a very dangerous man right now. He'll beat the Clippers. You ain't gonna worry about that.
You know what's the scary thing is, you hear this. The Lakers don't have a big three. They don't have that third guy to do it by committee.
Tell them who it is. Tell them who that third person is, because we know.
But they have forgotten about a player a few years ago who stepped up big in the playoffs, and his name was Playoff Rondo.
The real thing right there.
Rondo has stepped up. He came back after his injury, and he didn't lead that second unit. He didn't just do that. He gave him the opportunity for LeBron to rest at times, or even in playing. Where LeBron, they put him at the post, and Rondo's threading the needle to LeBron. So I think he was a major comeback story for this team. I mean, this dude tonight had 11 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. You talking about consistency? This dude has been consistent. It's supposed to have been Kyle Kuzma. And you know what? Don't get me wrong. Kyle Kuzma is a young player. When you go from a team where you can shoot every shot on the court a night but be a sorry team, he's still learning how to be a dude on a championship team.
You say something when you're done. When you're done, I got something to say. I was gonna wait till you finish, Freddie. I was gonna wait till you're done.
But you can go.
Oh, I was gonna say, Rondo, playoff Rondo is a real that's not everybody try to say a facade. That's not real. You can't be a playoff person. Why he's playoff Rondo? Because he knows what to do to win basketball games. He knows the sets to be in. He knows how to put people in the best position to succeed. He knows how to defend. He's another quarterback on the field. So now you got 2 floor generals out there. So at the time, LeBron can only worry about scoring. When you have LeBron only worry about scoring, that's not a LeBron you want to face at all, because that's really a man on a mission. And the thing about Kuzma, I'm going to be honest. They should have never got rid of Brandon Ingram. I knew from the jump. You watch Brandon Ingram in high school, college, even his first, second year. He was better than Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma just shot more threes. But you look at it this year, Brandon Ingram improved his 3-point game crazy. They should have kept Brandon Ingram, but they didn't. They kept Kuzma. What's in the past is in the past. One thing I will say about Kuzma right now is he understands his offense isn't there right now. He understands he has to learn when to pick his spots, when he can be the best on offense. But like I said earlier, that defense, man, everybody has seen the big improvement he has shown on defense. He went from a guy that couldn't guard anybody. Now he's out there taking the challenge against James Harden. Not anybody just takes the challenge against James Harden. That's why I love this team. You got defenders in the starting lineup and off the bench. And tonight they won 110-100. So now they're up 3-1 on the Rockets team that everybody swore the Lakers were going to lose to. Oh my God, they're going small ball. They're going small ball like the Lakers can't make adjustments. With Anthony Davis, you can go big and have the other centers in there, and you can honestly put him at the 4 or the 3 if you want to go big. But him at the 5, that's technically still small ball because the guy can still shoot. But he's 6'10", not 6'5". That is the adjustment that the Lakers can make. They're the most versatile team left in the bubble. I'm tired of everybody overlooking them because LeBron is there and AD is there, and they want to give it to what's new and what's flashy. They want to show no respect to the GOAT. That's all I got to say. Because I'm tired of people disrespecting the GOAT, Freddie. I didn't see it today. All of my timeline, all of my mentions on the thing I just posted. Everybody wants to disrespect the GOAT. Why are you disrespecting him? Please look at this.
When you say GOAT, are you talking about GOAT of like right now or all time?
We don't have to get into it, but I'm talking about both.
We'll talk about that.
I'm talking about both. Because look, all right, this is what I would say. When I say GOAT, when I say the greatest player of all time, I'm talking about what they did on the court. I'm not adding all the accomplishments, all the rings. Because if you do all that, then honestly, it's okay. I'll just do this real fast. You say rings is Bill Russell. Okay. You say accomplishments, right? But then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, without a doubt. If you want to say all that accomplishment stuff, I'm saying Kareem has the championships, has the MVPs. Then he scored. What is the game about? Putting the ball in the basket. He scored the most points ever in the NBA. So don't throw none of them accomplishments at me, because if you want to just go strictly by accomplishments, not what they do on the court, then it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't want to hear nothing about it. But in my opinion, he is the GOAT for both.
We'll definitely have to add that to one of our future shows. Yeah. Okay. I definitely believe that topic can get heated.
Yes,
but
it will.
I want to piggyback off that Kyle Kuzma deal. I've been watching him this series, and normally what Kyle Kuzma do, and it kind of, it kind of messes him up. He's standing at that 3-point line.
Mhm.
And now that he start cutting and start
Yes.
slashing a little bit better, he's been more effective.
Get off that 3-point line.
And
Yeah.
I think Kyle Kuzma is finally figuring out what do he need to do to be on the championship team. And honestly, the Pelicans wasn't going to let us keep Brandon Ingram. They won't. To do that trade, you had to give up Brandon Ingram.
At the time, everybody really thought that at the time, dude, everybody thought Kyle Kuzma, including the Pelicans, bro. Everybody thought Kyle Kuzma was the better one because Brandon Ingram had so much high expectations. He wasn't living up to him. Everybody thought at the time Kyle Kuzma was better. I'm pretty sure the Pelicans would have took Kyle Kuzma, bro. Look at the stats at the time. Kyle Kuzma was playing technically better than Brandon Ingram, but
Do you think do you think they would have done that trade without
Yes.
Brandon Ingram?
Yes, like I'm telling you, at the time, what Brandon Ingram did, the only people, okay, this is what I would say, unless they were truly aware of how great Brandon Ingram was, because I knew how good he was in high school and college, because I pay attention to the young stars, especially the good ones. Unless you knew how talented this dude was, which a lot of people giving up on him. A lot of people at the time giving up on him and said, okay, Kuzma is that guy. So at that time, I'm telling you, if they would have put Kyle Kuzma instead of Brandon Ingram wasn't shooting the threes he was back then. The free throw percentage was down. Everything was down from this year. They would have accepted Kyle Kuzma, bro. Without a doubt, they would have accepted him. That's why the Lakers wanted to keep him. They thought he was going to be better.
Well, let's keep on moving before we run out of time.
go.
I think it's appropriate for me to play the video again with this next topic that we're about to get on, because I think I'm as pumped. I think Chris gonna be pumped.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna be pumped. So
Yes, sir.
let's get ready to go. Play that video.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more.
What you
Hit
say?
the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more.
Oh woman, don't treat me so mean.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before I ask this question, I'm gonna let us know, because we're all here smart. We know that the MVP is about the season. We know that it's not about the playoffs, but I wish that rule would change. I wish they include the playoffs, because it's too many times these dudes are getting left off the hook. So how bad will it be for Giannis Antetokounmpo to accept this MVP award and play the way he did through these playoffs? Chris, I know you're pumped. I know you're fired up. I'm gonna let you go.
Man, to give this dude the MVP award, right? That's what they're going to do. He's going to accept it via Zoom. So you have, quote unquote, the best player in the league accepting the award via Zoom, because he couldn't, not only could he make it to the next round, but he couldn't even last long enough. He couldn't even get it to 6 or 7. We get a number one team in the NBA. This is what the power rankings say. In the East, this is what the power rankings say. And and you got the number one player. That's what the power rankings say. They love Giannis. They love the Bucks. But year after year, they show they cannot get it done in the playoffs. So I'm asking, why do they love him? Why do they love him? Him accepting this award via Zoom is going to look bad on him. It's going to look bad because they have all the high expectations for him. Giannis is this. He's the best player since, back in the day. Yada, yada, yada. Bull crap, because he doesn't do it in the playoffs, man. Everybody knows in order to be considered great, you have to do it in the playoffs. And for the guy, and now there's some guys in their career that played on sorry teams their entire career, and they can't get to the next round, but they play great in the playoffs. That's not Giannis. That's not Giannis. Giannis, you can argue, has some of the best collection of talent around him. And you can't say he doesn't, because the dude is the number one seed in the East, going to have the number one record, could have touched 70 wins. You got the coach that could have won Coach of the Year. They have all this talent around him, yet they don't get it done in the playoffs, and he doesn't step up too. It's not like he's averaging 50. I mean, Miami Heat was shutting him down. His best game was the game he got hurt. Giannis accepting this award at home, man, I think everybody's going to take him and his team as a joke next year. Honestly, in my opinion, they're a joke.
But Chris, do you think it's because he don't have a Scottie Pippen, or he don't have a second star player? The reason why they played as bad as they played and as bad as he played, do you think is the pressure is too much pressure on him?
No, I don't, because he accepts that pressure and he wants to thrive in that pressure. And he talks about that pressure, so you can't talk about it. You can't say you with all that and then fold. Now I'm not going to blame them having another star player, because Chris Middleton is a very good player. He was an all-star. I would say they need a better point guard play, but that is not the reason. You cannot blame that solely on why they lost. The Miami Heat they just punked them. They were the dogs. They came in there thinking, okay, we're the number one seed. We're going to dominate like we dominated against the Orlando Magic. When that's not the case. Let's be real. Miami beat them. Take out the game that Jimmy Butler was hurt in the regular season. Miami beat them every single time they played. The Miami Heat basically swept them in the playoffs. They lost that one game because when Giannis got hurt, they thought it was going to be a cakewalk. They really got swept. Giannis cannot blame it on nothing but himself. Now, I will say this. The other person that gets the most blame should be the head coach. And I would not be surprised if he gets fired. And why I say he needs a lot of blame, you cannot play your superstars in the playoffs less than 40 minutes. All the greats play a high of 38, 39, 40-plus minutes. LeBron averages 42-plus minutes in the playoffs. Giannis in the playoffs is playing 32, 34, 36 minutes. That's unacceptable from the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year. I don't care how tired you may say you are. Everybody's supposed to play tired. That's the name of the game. When you're great, you play tired. You play till they have to carry you off the floor. You don't get no breaks. You play the entire fourth quarter. You might play the entire second half. When Giannis starts doing that, then I'll start taking him serious. But until then, he's a joke to me, and that team's a joke.
Big Shaw, this dude is a freak of nature. They call him the Greek Freak. Is he the MVP?
No. When I seen he won that MVP, I said, heck, LeBron James should have got the MVP.
Yes, sir.
LeBron James he's one of the hardest basketball players I've ever seen play. And the Greek Freak, we all know Michael Jordan played with a flu, man. Jordan almost died playing. That's how bad it was. So, with Guinness and all these injuries, it's took a toll on him. Not making an excuse, but he folds. As soon as he gets to the playoffs, I wonder where did he go? Where did he go? But I always said the NBA, they should wait till the end of the season to give the MVP because the Greek Freak, he disappeared. I don't know where he went. It's you got to get a new coach. I think they're going to fire him. I really do think so. Mm-hmm. And Eric Bledsoe, I'm not a big fan of him, never been. So they need to get a new point guard. Put one more piece around him. And see what will happen after that. But we'll see. What will happen with him on July 1st next year.
Now. He's so used to the season being over, July 1st. So I think it'll probably be in November-ish or somewhere around in there. Yeah. You said a new coach. Do you guys think maybe a Mark Jackson, a Ty Lue, maybe they will get this position?
Mark Jackson's blackballed, man. I love Mark Jackson. I feel like he should have got, coaches a while ago. He's honestly blackballed from this league for things that, we don't have to go fully in depth. But if Mark Jackson is blackballed from this league. And he came out and said, I'm not going to go out and, campaign for a head coaching job. When it comes, it comes. But he loves the job he's at right now. And I wish the best for him out. He should be a head coach because he's better than a lot of these coaches. I'm just throwing one name out there, Tom Thibodeau. But we're talking about a guy like Ty Lue or Jay Kidd. I honestly wouldn't be mad if Jay Kidd goes back to Milwaukee. But a Ty Lue or Sam Cassell, Alvin Gentry, in my opinion, you need a head coach that's going to push Giannis. If that head coach is not going to push Giannis to be the best, I'm not talking about baby him. Let him play 32, 34 minutes, even if you're blowing the team out. No, you need a coach that's going out and say, Giannis, I understand you won the Defensive Player of the Year award. I understand you're most likely, which he is this year because the league loves him. I understand you're going to be a 2-time MVP award winner.
Yeah.
So you need to play like one. You need to not just in the regular season. I'm talking about the playoffs. So I'm going to play you hard in the regular season. There's going to be times you play 44 minutes so you can get ready for it. So you won't say you tired, all early and try to sub out. No. In order for Giannis to take his game to the next level, he needs a head coach that's going to push him. That's the truth.
Yeah, put him to the limit, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to put my 2 cents in it. Going to go briefly fast because our time is running out. I believe the Miami Heat put fear in Giannis' heart. When he said that came out that sprained ankle, that's a bunch of baloney. A lot of great players have played hurt. So I think he was just scared to touch the court again. Like I said, I said at the beginning, this Miami team is built with dogs. Pat Riley has a dog mindset. Then you bring in a Jimmy Butler. Then you have Eric Spoelstra as your coach. These dudes just took this dude out mentally out the game. This dude did not look like him at all. And we've seen this a couple of years. They give James Harden an MVP, but when it comes to the playoffs, this dude can't be clutch. We've seen it this year. more than likely he'll be MVP. But to me, he don't deserves it because he haven't stepped up in the playoffs. You need to step up in the playoffs. If you're the most valuable player, you need to get it done. We have a dude in LeBron James before the season was delayed because of COVID-19. He took on a Clippers team, and guess what he said? I'm the dog. I'm guarding Kawhi. He guarded. Then he played against a Bucks team, and he said, "You know what? I'm the best player on the team. I want Giannis. I'm gonna guard him." And he won both games. That's what a most valuable player do. And not just that, what do you do off the court? What leadership skills do you have off the court? And to me, LeBron James is the greatest leader in today's game. This dude, to me, people compare him to Michael Jordan. I don't see no comparison to Michael Jordan. That's disrespect for greatness. I compare LeBron James to Magic Johnson with a better shot, and he's just the greatest leader. The dude is a big body. He can run down the court. He get his teammates open. You either have two options. Either you need to close on the shooters or you need to clog the paint. But the dude is the all-time great. He is the MVP this year. Like Chris said, in year 17, he decided to be a point guard. I mean, that's just crazy. Now he's taking the most storied franchise Lakers team to a championship run. He is the MVP. And if he would have done what Giannis would have done, he would have got killed for it. They would have laid down on this dude. Then I have not heard anything about Giannis at all. Yeah. But that gets us into our next topic. Who is the most scrutinized NBA player of all time? Of all time. Big Shaw, who do you think have the most pressure, who's been talked down on the most out of all time?
All time?
All time.
Well, it's a few. I'll say his name again. We're talking about him, for a minute. LeBron James been talked down a lot. He's been, talked down on a lot. It's a lot of players, man. Allen Iverson was one. We go Allen Iverson. He was one. But I'm gonna stick with Allen Iverson because he was talked down a lot too. Oh, he's the smallest player. He can't do this. He can't do that. Man, that dude there had a heart of a lion, man. Allen Iverson had the heart of a lion, bro. I've never seen a dude that small. He going to the hoop. He's gone. That's my guy, Allen Iverson.
Chris, who do you think it is?
Now, I love that Allen Iverson pick. I mean, he got scrutinized not only for on the court, but off the court. What he did for the culture, he literally changed the game for all these young fellas, all the Russell Westbrooks, D. Wade, James Harden, all these young guys that might not even know. They was changing the dress rule because of Allen Iverson. He was trying to be himself, and they ain't let it.
They didn't like that.
But when I say the most scrutinized player of all time, it's not even close. It's LeBron James by far. I mean, he came into the league at 18. At 18, it had the pressure of greatness or bust. And he literally lived up to that, if not exceeded that. They said greatness, and his stats, when he retires, he's going to have over 30,000 points. If he stays on the pace he's on right now, he's going to be the career leader in points. He's going to have over 10,000 rebounds, and he's going to be top five in assists. He's going to break 10,000 assists. So that's a career of over 30,000, 10,000, and 10,000. I mean, this dude is great. All right, this is what I'm going to throw some comparisons out there, right? You look at MJ. MJ dropped 63 against the Boston Celtics, but get demolished in that series, right? But nothing but praise. And I even watched the documentary. They were still nothing but praise. LeBron has 51.
That's what happened. You write your own documentary.
LeBron has 51 in the finals against the Warriors and literally gets scrutinized for everything he does. LeBron has great game. Like Michael Jordan gets swept in the first round. LeBron James does not get swept in the first round. And LeBron James has had terrible teams. I'm talking about you take LeBron James off the team in Cleveland. What happened? They're the worst team in the league. He did it the first go around. He did it the second go around. All these guys in the NBA now are quote unquote the best guys in the league. They're missing all these playoff games because of injuries. Man, LeBron is a workaholic. He doesn't get injured. Why? Because he takes care of his body more than anybody. And I seen him roll his ankle just like how Giannis rolled it. What'd he do? You feel me? He muscled up. I seen him get hit in the head. I seen him have nosebleeds. I seen him be sick, play with broken hands, broken limbs. Like
another night.
Man, like LeBron is the most scrutinized player in this league. Everybody can do whatever they want. But if LeBron and he has nothing bad off the court, it's everything on the court. he can have a 50-point game. They lose by 2 is his fault. Yeah, he can shoot 60% from the field, have 10 assists. Kawhi Leonard went 4 for 17, and I'm hearing nothing. Giannis is supposed to be the MVP. He can loses. I'm hearing nothing. All these quote unquote best guys in the league can have the worst games possible, can do the worst things. Nobody says anything. But if if LeBron leaves his shoe untied, that's a problem. Like LeBron has no pass for these guys. Yeah, he does nothing but great things and great things and great things. I just don't understand why he's so scrutinized. It's been like that since day one. It was greatness or bust. He surpassed everybody's expectations, but still it's not enough. Nobody has been held to the standard LeBron has been held to. MJ was not held to the standard of the Magic off the rip. No, he was playing on bad teams, was losing, wasn't getting to the finals. Nobody was saying anything. But LeBron comes into the league and it's like, okay, you don't get to the finals, you're trash. He gets to the finals in 2007 and gets the Spurs, gets swept. They call him trash, but he had nobody on that team. You look at that team, a lot of people can't even name 4 guys, the other 4 guys in the starting lineup. They cannot. He loses, and then he goes to Miami. They say he builds a super team, but that Miami team was only trying to compete against Boston that really built a super team. You look at that Miami team when he joined it, they were not a top team in the East at the time. They were one of the worst teams in the East. They had no bench. Their roster was trash. He made them great. He goes back to Cleveland. Do they have the best roster that first year? No, it's just him, Kyrie, and K-Love. He still does his thing, carries them in the finals. Man, LeBron James does so much to this game. And he never been on an all-time great team like the KD that literally joined us bombs super team, but still won't get as much flack as LeBron does for the stuff he does in career. Man, I just don't understand. It's by far he's the most scrutinized player in this league. Nobody will ever be held to the standard LeBron's held to ever.
Both of you guys said great points, and I'm gonna change it up a little bit. It might be a little comical what I'm about to say, but when you talk about scrutinized, you're talking about pressure, held to a different standard and stuff like that. It was a recent number 2 pick for the Los Angeles Lakers, Lonzo Ball. He was held to a whole nother level, not because of him, because of his daddy. His daddy did not keep his mouth closed. His daddy put like a bullseye on his kid's back. I believe Lonzo would have been a great point guard for the Lakers. Matter of fact, I think the Lakers need Lonzo Ball right now. Don't they need a point guard? And he's a traditional point guard. He might not be the scoring point guard, but he's a point guard to get teammates involved, play good defense. He's going to give you that type of effort. But, this dude's daddy's been on him so hard where he was not able to show who's the real player, what type of player he is. Now that he's in New Orleans, now that he's not with the big baller brand, he didn't kind of show that he really is. I know Chris might disagree, but I'm just saying that his daddy put a lot of pressure on him.
But that's been a relationship their entire life. I don't blame his dad for what happened in LA because that's been a relationship their entire life. You got a dad that creates a brand for you, that has that much confidence in you, that literally gets to you to where you at because of all the hard work and dedication he put in the gym with you. Lonzo was not mad at his dad for saying them things. At the end of the day, the way he was playing in college, that's how he looked. It's not like he was saying nothing out of the ordinary. The way he was playing in college, he had the vision that still translated. He had a defense that drove translated. Now, shooting in college, some people can shoot in college, can't shoot in the league. That just happened to him. But this year, he really fixed his three-point shot. I just think it was time for him to go to get AD. If they could have somehow kept him and still got AD, they would have did it because you look at him this year and he's very good. He's a very good point guard. Don't think he's Stephen Curry just yet, but I think he's going to create his own path. But yeah, I guess you go scrutinize, man. They say his dad said he's going to be Steph Curry's first year. He did not live up to it. I still think he's really good, but yeah, that he had some pressure on him.
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
Do you say his little brother has more pressure on LaMelo?
No, because I think his daddy he didn't learn. He's not as loud and crazy as he was at first, and I think his game, LaMelo's game, is going to translate itself. Man, that dude's a baller.
And LaMelo's just like his dad. He talk. He doesn't need his dad to talk for him. Like LaMelo's going to talk for himself.
Yeah, Lonzo's the quiet one.
Yeah, Lonzo's quiet is what he's chill, goes with the flow unless something really aggravates him. LaMelo's the one that's all wild. Yeah,
he's the wild child.
Yeah, he's the wild child.
Before we end the show, because we had a lot of great topics, and hopefully we add into some of our next shows. But I think this one's going to get a little heated. We was actually talking about it before we went on air. What team that didn't make the playoffs last year will make it this year? Big Shaw, you said you are a Cleveland Brown fan.
Yeah.
Or is that who you gonna pick this year?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're gonna go somewhere this year, man. You know, I'm waiting for Odell Beckham to have a great season and Baker Mayfield to wake up and get better. He actually Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback. He just has to trust Odell Beckham and throw him the ball. You know, throw that man the ball and let him work. That's all you got to do. Throw him the damn ball. You know, you got a good running game. You got a decent defense. Just if my guys can stay healthy, we can make a strong push.
Chris, you're a Philadelphia fan. Your team that made it to the playoffs the last couple of years, so you can't choose them.
Okay, I know they're already making it. I don't gotta choose them. It's nothing to argue
I
about.
wonder where are you going with this? Who?
I'm going in the AFC. I said a couple teams in the AFC that's going to make the playoffs this year, and I'll just name a couple of them and go a brief little statement about them. I have the Denver Broncos. You know, even with Von Miller being hurt, arguably for the rest of the season, Bradley Chubb is coming back fully healthy. You got to remember, Bradley Chubb, his rookie year, had double-digit sacks. I mean, he's Von Miller. He's the young version of Von Miller. Von Miller's only going to help him become great. Just like Elvis Dumervil helped him, Von Miller's going to help this Bradley Chubb. They improved at the D-line. They improved at the cornerback position, linebacker position, the offense. They went on, got a Melvin Ingram. They drafted 2 wide receivers to help the young Drew Lock. Out the Indianapolis Colts, you know, making the playoffs. I think they did nothing but improve. You go get a DeForest Buckner. You know, you have arguably one of the best linebackers in the league, good D-backs. Offense, you got Michael Pittman, you got Jonathan Taylor and Phillip Rivers. I like those 2 teams making the playoffs this year. And I know I'm just going to say it out here. Like anybody that's listening, if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, you know, stay home, eat your lunch, and watch my Eagles win the NFC East. Same thing with the Giants. Same thing with the Washington football team.
Yeah.
It's the Eagles division.
I think y'all know where I'm going with this.
Eagle Giants.
Bro,
The New York Giants. They will be in the playoffs. They will be the NFC East champions.
Explain to me why. Explain to me. I want to hear it. I want to hear why.
Why? Okay.
Yeah.
You have a rookie quarterback in Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
He was not the most flashy pick in the draft. He was not the pick that they wanted him to get. They wanted
terrible. It was a terrible pick. Go ahead.
But I bet you Big Shaw wish they would have got Lamar Jackson instead of Baker Mayfield. So guess what? Somebody didn't see it. Like, didn't see Daniel Jones going to the Giants. This dude was an elite quarterback in his rookie class. Just listen now and listen here. The dude gave you 24 touchdowns, 12 assists. The only problem the dude had was fumbling the football. That was the only problem. He didn't even play a full season. So you give him a Saquon Barkley. Then I'll say it again. It's like Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders. They had a baby and they just spit out Saquon. This dude is a beast. I expect him to be like Christian McCaffrey last year, have a breakout season, and show everybody why he's the best running back in the NFC East, in the best running back in the NFL. Period. Point blank. Period.
Okay.
He just got to stay healthy.
That's it.
I'm not.
Because I'm a rebuttal, short and fast. But go ahead. It's going to be short and fast for a bubble.
Shepard as a wide receiver. He's going to step up and be the number 1 wide receiver. Then you have Golden Tate. He's a secondary receiver. Then you have Evan Ingram, who's just your tight end, who's arguably who's going to be a top 5 tight end this year. Coach and Joe Judge. Did you hear what happened in practice today? The players came in there playing lackadaisical. They was not hustling. He said, you know what? Let's stop practice. We're starting over. We need that mentality as a coach. We need a dog-minded coach to push these players. Then you got a Jason Garrett from the Dallas Cowboys. You say, oh, he wasn't a good coach in Dallas. Well, why now? Because he's not a head coach. He's the offensive coordinator. Tell me when Dallas was not good offensively the last couple of years. They've been a good offensive team. And
he wasn't calling the plays. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Tell me you give Jason Garrett a second-year quarterback who's an accurate passer, who's mobile, then you give him one of the best running backs. He thought he had a Zeke Elliott. Oh, wait till you meet Saquon Barkley, sir. This team will be the number 1 team in the NFC East, and they're going to prove it to you why this year.
All right, now let me kill your argument real quick. You said you give him Daniel Jones and you give him, Saquon, but he just had Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, He had a Jason Wynn before. He had a Cole Beasley. He had a Dak, and he had a Zeke. And he also had the best O line at one time. Your O line is trash.
No,
No, you still don't have as good O line as the Eagles, as good as O line as the Cowboys. Still, then hold on, and then you said Cowboys. I mean, you said the wide receivers. You know, you said tight end Ingram. That's the only one I like. You said Golden Tate. He's not that good. Then you want to say Sterling Shepard. He hasn't done nothing in the league so far, and he was playing when they had Odell, Eli Manning.
Then,
yeah, who? That's
Darius
all. Yeah, okay. You said it all right. And then I said who because nobody knows who he is. Then you know one thing that you didn't say at all is defense, bro. Y'all have the worst defense in the division. You didn't say defense. When I say my Eagles, I can lead with the defense because we improved at every single spot on the defensive spot, at every single position on defense. We improved at the cornerbacks. Everybody said our cornerbacks was the worst in the league. Now we got 2 of the top 20 safeties. Even though we got rid of Malk, we still got a lot of depth back there. D-line, we went and got one of the best interior defensive tackles. Then offense, maybe we went and got some weapons for the best quarterback in the NFC East. Like,
huh?
What?
Who's the quarterback?
You said you think Daniel Jones is the best quarterback in the league? I mean, okay, yeah. You don't. Nobody believes that because at the end of the day, let's look who he's throwing to. Nobody. Evan Ingram and Saquon Barkley. Okay, you look at. He's throwing to nobody. You look at Carson Wentz. You got Deshaun Jackson. You got Alshon Jeffrey. You got Hightower. You got Jalen Rager. Then you got two of the top 10 tight ends. Not Evan Ingram, who might have a top 5 season. Or Zach Ertz is going to have a top 5. And year after year since he's been on the Eagles, Dallas Goedert has a top 10 season. Man, the proof is in the stats. I can send them to you. I don't want to take up your time.
Better than Carson Wentz because you mentioned all the
and he had a better season than him.
About all the better receivers.
My better season than him.
The name receivers, and guess what? He gonna get it done with no names.
Let's bet 100 on it. Let's bet 100 on it because there's no Daniel Jones is not going to have a better season than Carson. He's not going to have a better season than Dak. And in my opinion, he's not even going to have a better season than Haskins in Washington.
Haskins have a better season than him.
He will if Carson Wentz can't stay healthy this year.
Look at the injuries he had. Somebody targeted him and headbutted him. Of course, he's going to get in concussion. You do that to any quarterback and they're taken out. Talk about a torn ACL. Deshaun Watson did it and bounced back. Tom Brady did it and bounced back. A lot of quarterbacks, knock on wood, tore the ACL. And then you talk about a back injury where he still threw over 3,000 yards and 21 touchdowns and had the same weapons as your beloved Daniel Jones. Don't talk to me about injuries when every quarterback is going through injuries. Peyton Manning is going through injuries, still bounced back. Drew Brees has went through injuries and still bounced back. Tom Brady's went through injuries and still bounced back. Yeah. I can go quarterback after quarterback and quarterback Hall of Famers that still bounce back. You look at his numbers. Yeah, he had better numbers than Deshaun Watson last year, but everybody loves some Deshaun Watson, and he had all them receivers. He did that with no receivers.
He's trash right now.
Who?
Deshaun Watson.
Because they got rid of his boy D-Hop. Oh, my God. Right,
20.
I just can't wait to the season Carson Wentz has. On this show right now on the network right now. What's the bet on the NFC, the East Division rankings? What's the bet on it? Because I'm here. Eagles number 1, y'all number 4. Without a doubt.
I live in Texas. We can't bet in Texas on sports.
Great answer. You have no confidence in your team. I love it though. I love the confidence.
Confidence in my team, but hey, like I said, we win in the NFC East. I don't believe in Dallas. Excuse me, Dallas has been doing the same thing for the last 25 years. They have a whole bunch of hype, but guess what? You can't get it done. You had a good run a few years ago. Matter of fact, y'all might need to make a trade to Chicago to get your quarterback back. And
why? I don't understand. He has some of the best stats every single year. He literally got targeted. I will send a clip in the group chat how Jadeveon Clowney literally led with his head first and tried to knock that man out, which he did. He got targeted, bro. If that happened on Daniel Jones, you're talking about a 6'5", 200.
He won't let he's too mobile.
Carson Wentz is just as mobile. What are you saying? Did you not see him as MVP year?
Wentz is mobile.
Yeah, I know that.
Right now, you see, Chris Brown, like Ace calls me the most intelligent one. I am unbiased and I say nothing but facts and stats, and I say the truth. Freddie, right now you're being Homer. Everybody knows the New York Giants is going to be trash, but I let you get it off because you love them. And Big Shaw, you said the Cleveland Browns, I love them. I think they could make the playoffs this year, honestly, but it all has to do with Baker Mayfield. I think Myles Garrett is going to have 16, 17 sacks this year. Maybe 18. He's a beast. I think he has a chance to win the Defensive Player of the Year award this year, honestly.
Yeah, I believe it. Hey, with the Giants, did they? I remember they drafted a player. They was high on him.
Traded
Jabril
him.
Peppers. Whatever
Oh,
happened to him?
he with y'all,
He
if
was
I'm
out
not
there?
mistaken.
We
Or, or unless it's the other way around.
We don't have trash in Cleveland. We don't know where he went.
Oh, he's not trash, my friend. And then what happened? What happened?
I ain't heard of him for.
Oh my God, man! This New York Giants team, man. Let's not, ridicule the Giants this entire show because it could be just Freddie and the Giants hurting this, but we're not going to do that here. We're gonna.
Y'all just wait. We gonna win Monday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You just watch.
Freddie, if y'all win a division, Freddie, I will give up my PlayStation, my laptop, and I will wear
New York Giants.
not a Saquon Barkley jersey because I actually like Saquon at Penn State. I'll wear a Daniel Jones jersey on the show every day until your playoff game if y'all win the division.
Dude, hey, our national audience, do you hear this, man? I'm gonna send him my address for his PlayStation and laptop because it's coming to me. You might as well get ready. It's coming. But unfortunately, time has ran out. We have to close the show off. Man, what a wonderful show. We had Luke Worsham on the show. He dropped some good knowledge on the show. It's Big Shaw's first show. You did wonderful tonight, man. And Chris, you did your thing as well as normal. So, man, I'm going to give each one of you guys 30 seconds to go before we end the show and say what you have to say. And, hey, and do not forget, after this Chiefs and Texans game, we will, as All Sports, All Plays Network, we will have a post-game coverage. First time. Chris, go.
Oh man, I love the show tonight. Shaw, Freddie, man, you guys did your thing. We got the guy Luke on here, man. He dropped some knowledge on us. You talking about a guy that's inside the NFL. All he's going to give us the knowledge. He did that. Great. That's a great team. Very underrated team. They have honestly no holes in their roster. So I'm glad we got to him come on the show. We talked about some great things. I think we can all agree on one thing that LeBron James. And I'm gonna leave out on this. No, I'm gonna leave out on something else. But I think we can all agree on that LeBron James is still the best player in the league. The thing that I'm gonna leave out on is, man, I cannot wait to watch this post-game coverage of the game because I did not get a chance to watch it. So I cannot hear, our fellow analysts. I cannot hear their opinions on the show. I cannot wait to hear it.
All right, Big Shaw.
Well, today was a great show. I really enjoyed it. The guy, the Tennessee analyst guy, he was great. And I'm starting to become a Tennessee Titans fan right now. But I'm anxious to see how they're going to play this year. And working with y'all guys, I really enjoyed it. And I hope I can do it again, whenever we come back on. But everything was great, man. I really enjoyed talking about the subjects with y'all guys. And, like I said, we can do it again, man, and we can rock and roll. And LeBron James, he should win the MVP.
But sadly, he's not going to, man. What a cold world.
It is.
All right, everybody. This is All Sports, All Plays Network. We also have T-shirts for sale. If you look at one of our pictures on the network, they're $25. They are fire. Get you one. I want to thank Luke Worsham for joining the show tonight. Like Chris said, drop pure knowledge on us. I learned some stuff that I didn't know. Just want to thank him for coming on. Look forward to having the post-game show tonight and for the debut in that. You can always catch Sports Talk with Freddie and Chris and our new moderator, Big Shaw, Mondays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central. And join us, me and Chris, this Sunday after Sunday Night Football as we break down the coverage of NFL Sunday. You guys have a good night. Like this page, follow this page, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
All right. Thank you, everybody.